Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector with a quick afternoon update. So it does kind of look like GameStop was playing games after all during their sale. And I'm not sure how many of you noticed this, but with certain games, when you would go to click on them, they would show as being available for you to add them in the cart. But then once you got them into your cart, it would pretty much say that the game is no longer available and you would have to then remove it from your cart because it wasn't there. Now, I was typically seeing this with more exclusive, hard to find games. Not all, but some. Now, I was lucky enough to get some of their more like rare NES games, like Mega Man and then Mega Man 5. Those were a couple games that I was able to get that were a little bit more rare and exclusive. But there were two NES games in particular that I was trying to go after that for whatever reason, even though they were showing available for me to add to the cart, I wasn't able to actually get them in my cart to purchase them. One of them was Shadow of the Ninja on the NES, which is an amazing ninja game. I think it's technically the fourth installment of Ninja Gaiden in the Ninja Gaiden series on the NES. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. Now, Shadow of the Ninja is, from a graphics perspective, it's one of the best looking games, in my opinion, that have come out on the NES. I think it's like, you could tell that they were just literally weeks away from Super Nintendo graphics, just with the sprite work and everything. And you can tell like how much more detailed it looks when you compare it to like the original Ninja Gaiden or even Ninja Gaiden 3. So Shadow of the Ninja was definitely a game that I was trying to add into my collection. And I think they had it on their website for either $54.99 or $59.99. So of course, I was trying to bundle it with another $50 or $60 game to be able to maximize on the buy two get one. But for whatever reason, I just wasn't able to do it. Now whenever they do these buy two get ones, I usually like to go on like the day after or like a day or two after to see if anything fell out from the inventory, because usually things do. And I happened to jump on their website and I saw that Shadow of the Ninja was now available to add in the cart again. And so just for the heck of it, I decided to say, you know what, let me go ahead and add it to the cart to see if I'm able to add it. And luckily I was able to add it to the cart. And this time it didn't automatically make me remove it. So I immediately hit checkout and I checked out for it and was able to purchase Shadow of the Ninja. Now, for those of you who don't know, that game right now is roughly like $100 to $120 if you try to buy it online. So even getting it at the $59.99 was a really good deal to me, because that's like 50% off of a pretty expensive NES game. And that's a very fun ninja game. So that's one that I would have wanted to add to my collection. And I'm glad that I was able to get it. But a big part of me is just like, why wasn't I able to do this 2 days ago during the buy two get one? Why did GameStop keep playing the game with the address verification and then having the game available and then it not being available? It just kind of seemed like a little bit of like gamesmanship on their part. And then the same thing was happening with Silver Surfer. So on their website, GameStop had Silver Surfer available on the NES, which again is another really good NES game. And I'm not like a huge NES collector. I'm getting more into the NES for certain games. Not all NES games. I do think there are some NES games that are just straight like calculator. It's like a game that what I would have played on my calculator. That's how bad the graphics are. But later in the NES life cycle, like once you get into like the 90s, games that were made in like 1990, 1991, 1992, those games that were made on the NES, just you could tell there was a lot more detail into the programming and the sprite work. So those are games that I'll probably be adding to my collection. But Silver Surfer was a game that was super hard it was like so elusive during the buy two get one. And then again, as soon as I jump on today, I see that they have Silver Surfer available. I was able to add it to my cart and check out. And again, that's another game that when I try to find Silver Surfer online on the NES, it's coming up at about like 40 to 50 bucks a pop. They had it on sale for $27.99, so I still went ahead and got it, because again, that's at least 35 to 40% off on a pretty good NES game. So I went ahead and picked it up. But I'm just curious to see if anyone else had those types of experiences during GameStop's buy two get one, or if everything was a seamless process. Now, I am going to give GameStop their props. it was easy for me to get a good chunk of games. Like a lot of the games that you see here that I was able to pick up, I was able to pick them up relatively easy. But it's almost like GameStop didn't want you to be able to take advantage of the promo, and they wanted you to pay basically their full price for the games, for certain games. Not all games, but for certain games, it seems like they wanted you to pay the full price. Now, the thing with Shadow of the Ninja is that I know that Limited Run actually re-released that game. They just did a re-release of Shadow of the Ninja in one of their like special editions, and I think you could get like a blue cart. And a lot of times when you see these like remakes on some of these games, sometimes you'll see the price go down. But I don't know. Shadow of the Ninja still looks like a very expensive NES game to me. And I don't know if that's just a sign that, you know, NES games are going up in price or going up in value. But I do know that it's becoming more difficult to find retro games in general. You know, I tried going out a little bit this weekend, hitting up a few spots. And you can still find like the common stuff. You can still find the sports titles, you know, more of the common games. If you watch my most recent video that I put out yesterday, I ran into one of these retro stores where they had like 6 almost brand new, like mint condition, complete in box Super Nintendo games. But it was like Super Tennis, you know, golf, things like that. So I don't know how easy it is to find these cartridge-based games anymore. And even in like some of my local retro game spots, I'm not seeing them have that type of inventory as much as they used to. It seems like I'm seeing more like PlayStation 2 stuff, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, GameCube in some cases. There's always going to be a plethora of Wii games available, so that's something that we'll never have a shortage of. But when it comes to like some of these like Super Nintendo, NES, and even like Sega Genesis games, those are becoming like more difficult to find. And I'm seeing that GameStop is actually becoming the better option. Ironically enough, I'm seeing that GameStop is the better option for some of these retro games as opposed to you know, some of these other places, because GameStop is pricing some of these retro games underpriced. Like I said, I just picked up Shadow of the Ninja for $59.99, and I also picked up a copy of Silver Surfer on the NES for $27.99. So I don't know, if you're watching this video and you hear this, do me a favor, jump on GameStop's website, see if you can pick up a copy of Shadow of the Ninja or Silver Surfer, see if it'll let you put it in the cart, because I'm just wondering if this stuff is just happening to me or if this is something that other people are seeing as well. And I have gotten comments over the weekend from folks who have shared their frustrations with not being able to add certain games or get some of the games that they want during the promo. So I know I'm not the only one, but with these 2 games in particular, I'm really interested to see if everyone else is seeing what I'm seeing. But that was just a quick afternoon update. It's the Y2K Collector. I'll be back this evening with a few more of deliveries that are coming in from what I ordered during the buy 2 get 1, and I'll be happy to update you on that. Until then, take it easy.